Well, we've moved on from Sussex while we're back here in the UK, and we've come all the way up to Minehead, and you can see in the background there the lovely coastline, because we are parked right there. So that's where we are, and that's the view we have over Minehead sort of coastline and bay. We're at the Camping and Caravan Club site at Minehead, and it's not recommended for caravans, so you really can't bring a caravan here. We only just managed to get this huge motorhome up the hill. It is a very narrow, very windy lane. I think it's called Hill Road in Minehead, but I'll fill you in on details of the site. But it is absolutely beautiful, with a couple of the most helpful and lovely site wardens here. Helped us to, fill up with water, get to a pitch, and they chose a pitch for us because we'd had a long journey. They sort of spent a bit of extra care, I think, which is really nice. Bought out a little dog treat for Pippin. Told us about the free Wi-Fi right across the site, which is amazing. This is a really beautiful, out of the way, hidden gem in the Camping and Caravan Club site across the UK. So this really is a little hidden gem in the Camping and Caravan site estate right across the UK. Well, I mean, we've been to some lovely places, but this and the view we've got out of the door, that one there, is amazing. So it's been actually months since I've been able to clean the van. There wasn't really any decent washing facilities while we were sort of travelling around, and getting the motorhome clean has been, well, a bit of a problem really, because we haven't been able to buy that waterless wash spray either. So now we're back in the UK. I have managed to buy from Halfords the turtle wax waterless wash, which is currently $6.99 a bottle. I bought a couple of bottles and I've just started to clean up the front of the van, which was absolutely grimy, filthy, and it really looked dull and lifeless. I've been using this wash and wax waterless cleaner. It says shake it well. That's what it is, from those turtle wax people, and it comes out as a sort of a watery mix of well, yellow liquid. It is actually yellow, but it's cleaned up the van quite well. I just gave it a quick going over when we arrived here yesterday, and was only using a single cloth. So you're supposed to use two, one for, well, spray it on, polish it and get the muck off, and then dry it with a clean cloth as well. So I'm going to go over some of it now. I'll show you the before and after of some of the van here. I'll choose some of the dirtier bits down here, so that you can see what the effect is. Unfortunately, I didn't think about doing the before and after on the cab area yesterday, because I was just excited and keen to get it cleaned up. Because, as you know, we're going to be filming tomorrow for the SunLife advert thing, and they're going to get a couple of shots of the van, and I wanted to get it at least close to being looking okay. I don't think you can with this stuff. It needs a proper wash, with water and soap and stuff like that to get it really nice. But there you go, haven't had a chance to do that. Maybe as we're going around I might get the chance to give it a good water and soap wash, but who knows, we'll see. But let's get on with this bit. So you can, hopefully you can see down this bit here is quite mucky. It's really grimy, so I'm going to give this a good shake up, and then I'm going to use two cloths on this section here, one to wipe it in and then another one to polish it out. And you see I've been using sort of plenty of it to give it a good spray. And then it really is sort of really grimy. I'll go up to the edge of the fridge grill here. I'll just make a straight line down there so you'll be able to see the difference between the clean and the dirty. There's still lots of muck and grime on as you go. And I think when you're doing this sort of stuff, you do get to see all the little greasy and grimy marks all over the van. It gives you a good view of the condition that you're keeping your van in, actually, when you do this sort of detailed work, rather than with one of those sort of brushy, spongy things. It does say that you can sort of use this for sort of detailed cleaning. I think that there's a little mark here. I don't know whether that's been caught by a tree or a branch or a bush. There's a little scuff. It's sort of a dark black mark on it. Might need to get some sort of rubbing compound on that, like T-cut. So I've got the 3G version of that going on. But that's that pretty much right. As a little sort of demo area. Then you come in with the clean cloth and really sort of give that a bit of a buffing up. It does actually look really good when you get it, and there's still a few little marks on, so you can see the difference that has made just with that. So this bit is the nice, and it feels really nice and smooth. There's no sort of gritty feel to it, but over this side you'll see that real dirty grit and grime on it, and it does come off pretty well. You can see it coming up quite nicely. So that's with the wet, the waterless wash rag, and then really buffing it up to dry it off and get it looking nice and clean. It really comes up. So there you are. That's the waterless wash that we're doing, and you'll see there's an awful lot of van to do it's almost you could go round the van and then, well, after every drive really, give it a good clean with that. And I do intend to stock up a little bit on the waterless wash when I get next to a, you know, near a Wilco or a pound shop or something like that. Get some of the cheaper stuff, because I think that might be just as good. And my intention is at some point to have a sort of professional exterior wash done, so it gets it all clean, and then maybe give it one of those sort of sealant coatings if I can do that, just to help it along. A bit more waxy stuff on the bodywork so that the dirt and grime just falls off almost. Anyway, that's my job for the day. Getting on with the well, it feels like painting the Forth Road Bridge. Going round and round. On Tuesday afternoon, and a lot of the van's been cleaned, and we've sort of tidied up the inside to make it all nice. We've got a day of filming tomorrow, and we're then thinking about the electrical upgrade. So we're going up to a place called Onboard Energy at Nuneaton, and we're gonna have fitted a new inverter, an additional solar panel, a new solar charge controller to regulate the solar power coming into the new battery, which is a 200 amp hour lithium battery that's going in, and all the other sort of ancillary bits and pieces. There'll be a battery shut off switch, a battery monitor as well, just to let us know more accurately, accurately for the first time I think, what sort of battery power we have left available to us. Now at the moment we've got 3 100 amp hour batteries, so that's 150 that's 300 amp hours of battery, but they're lead acid, so the maximum we can discharge them is 150 amp hours, so 50% what they call depth of discharge. So if you've got that much charge, and that's half, you can discharge your battery that much before you start to damage it. So, and then, you know, you really should charge them up to make them, well, to actually give them a bit of sort of renovation, as it were, so get them back up to speed. But that's how it operates on lead acid. And as you know, regular viewers will know that we decided to go for the UASA L36 EFB batteries, which are sort of fairly new lead acid batteries that, you know, they seem to be the most cost effective on the market, about £120 each, and we bought those maybe must be nearly a year ago now. So we've had quite a bit of good use out of them, because we do sort of use them quite a lot in terms of battery power. You know, in fact, since we left Spain, since we left my brother's, we have not been plugged into any electric hookup, and we've done everything we needed to do. And in fact, what we do now is we have been switching on our current inverter while we travel, so that the batteries are getting charged up, and they're, you know, able to charge our laptop, iPads and phones, and indeed the Hoover, the battery powered Hoover, or rechargeable Hoover that we that we use, which is it's a Dyson boat and car V8, I think, or something like that. Anyway, so that all gets charged up while we're en route, and we arrive with fully charged batteries. So that's good. During the day, even on a day like today, it's very bright. It's not really sunny, really overcast and cloudy, but it's very bright. We're still, we were pretty well down on the batteries last night, but we're back up to fully charged by sort of mid-morning. So it's all good. The current solar panel works quite well, but the batteries do deplete quite quickly, and they always have done. And I've always sort of wondered about that. And I think that's a bit to do with the sort of power monitoring system on the Auto Trail or the Sergeant control units. I don't think they report the battery power accurately at all. It can report that the batteries are completely flat, and they're not at all. But we've got that extra solar panel that we've plugged in that doesn't get monitored, so it doesn't really know about that. And we have the inverter currently that doesn't get monitored. That doesn't go through the Sergeant control unit, so it doesn't get monitored for battery power consumption. So it's not surprising that it doesn't really work that well in terms of the onboard monitoring system. However, when we do get the Victron inverter charger, that will be connected to the batteries. It will be connected to the electric hookup cable as well, because it's a sort of dual. It'll take the electric hookup and it will take the battery power, because if we do ever plug into electric hookup, that inverter will actually recharge the batteries for us, so if we ever needed to do that. And the inverter will also allow the battery power to be used on all of the two 30-volt sockets that are dotted around. I mean, there's one down here next to the seat that when we're on hookup, I would use this one for recharging my laptop there. So it's a pretty smart bit of kit, and it'll just make all the sockets live, so that we can use all of the sockets around in normal use. Now, they do say that you shouldn't leave the inverter on all of the time, so we're going to have it has a switch to switch it on and off. So I think maybe overnight I'll switch it off. I think it has a fan to keep it cool, so I'll probably switch it off overnight. Last thing we go to bed, switch it off, and then that'll be fine, and then pop it back on in the morning. So we're going to have the 100 watt solar panel that we've got on the roof already. We're going to have an extra 200 watt solar panel that's going up the back, and that'll come back through and feed through the charge controller, the new MPPT Charge Controller, which should maximize the power throughput to recharge the lithium battery. We're also going to have what they call a shunt fitted, which is sort of a little metal block that sits between the negative terminal, or the minus terminal, and the sort of minus or ground negative cable. And that shunt is there because apparently you need that to be able to measure all of the power input and output to the battery, and that shunt will allow the battery monitor to be connected. And the battery monitor is going to be super accurate, because everything will be monitored through that. All the power going in and out of the batteries will be monitored through that, and we won't be taking power out of anywhere else, apart from off of that negative, because I don't know why it's the negative end that measures the power, not the positive end, but it is. So if we do put extra bits around, like the extra USB sockets, the negative draw will be put to that shunt, so that all the sort of power circuit will be measured by that monitor, and we can see the amount of power we got. Now, the difference in the lithium battery, which is a big difference. Now, we've got a 200 amp hour battery, so 200 amp hours as opposed to our current 300 amp hours. But you can deplete a lithium safely to sort of 80 or 90%. I think on some of them, I think the recommendation on this is, I'm gonna say 90%. I know a lot of lithium batteries can go up to 95% without damage. So let's say 90%. So that's going to be 180 amp hours of usable power. Actually more than we've got now. Even if it was 80% depletion that we were allowed to go to on that battery, that's 160 amp hours of usable power. And the big difference, I think, about these lithium batteries is not only that you can deplete them further to maximise, the amp hourage that you've got. They stay at a constant voltage, because the lead acids, right? What we find when the batteries do get down, and we've got like an iPad plugged in on a USB charger, it'll continually, when you plug a charger into an iPad, it goes bing. And what we find is that when the batteries are low and you've got an iPad on charge, it will continually go bing, bing, because it's going off charge, because there's not enough power being pushed through, and it will come back on charge, which means that the onboard lead acid batteries are just not pushing enough voltage through, because they're low. Because as they drop, you get like a fully charged battery is 12.7 volts or above. Sometimes we get 13.5 volts registering, but they come right down to I think when they register 12.4. I'm not got all that in my mind. 12.4 is pretty is as far as you can go. They're flat at that point. It's a bit weird, 12 volt batteries being charged to 13 volts, but there you are. So that's the big difference with the lithium batteries. They're going to be way more efficient and stay at a constant voltage right throughout, so we won't get that clicking in and out, and it'll be much more usable. I've been speaking to somebody else who's just had that lithium battery. He's got 100 amp hour lithium, and he's spent some time down in Spain, and in the afternoons he was able to come back from being out and pop the aircon on. So pretty much same system that we're getting, pretty much. The inverter charger doesn't kick out as many amps as ours will, and the battery is 100 amp hour rather than 200 amp hour, and he's been having his aircon on for an hour just to cool his Caravan down, and it's all been fine, and he's only been using 50-60% of his power. Bearing in mind you can go to 80 or 90%, so still plenty of power there to run your batteries, run your lights and TV and any cooking implements. It's going to be an absolute revelation to us, I think, having a decent inverter, really good battery, monitoring system. And also the other thing is we've gone for the Sterling battery to battery DC charger, which will properly charge the lithium battery while the engine's running. So it gets connected up to the alternator, or the alternator battery for the starter, and then pushes the additional unneeded charge through to your leisure battery. Quite a good bit of kit, because it's got a lithium profile, so if the batteries are low, it gives a really bulk charge. And that's another good thing about lithiums, is you can charge them harder and faster than you can with lead acid. Lead acid needs a little bit of a trickle. Not entirely true. You know, you can push them a bit, but you know, there's certain voltages you can't go above, otherwise you start to damage them. But lithiums are a bit more able to take a big charge and then just top them off with a little trickle at the end, and we can do that while we're driving. Or if we really have gone overboard, then we can just start the engine up, you know, give it a few revs, give it a little bit of a boost, you know, if we're parked wild camping. But given that we got the extra 200 watts of solar on the roof, a decent charge controller, there's the one that comes with the Sergeant controller unit, is a PMW, which is a old technology, I would say, and it's not so efficient as the MPPT type. So, and the sort of difference that makes is that if you, as I understand it, if you've got a solar panel and you're under a tree and you've got, like, you know, maybe a little bit covered or shaded from the sun, then the MPW charge controllers will only take the charge that it can sense from the darkest bit. That's as I understand it. So not so much voltage coming through to recharge the batteries, whereas the MPPT flips that on its head, and this is real layman's term stuff, flips that on its head and takes the maximum charge from the whole thing. So it sort of maximizes the charge that it can grab from any bit. Really cool technology. So we'll get much more charging through. I suppose the extra solar panel and the Sterling DC charger, which charges batteries while we're driving, it's a bit of belt and braces really. And you know, we are, I would say, never going to have to plug into an electric hookup ever again, which is going to be really cool. And not only that, we're going to be able to use all of our 230 volt sockets, which is even better, because we can, you know, while we're not on hookup, we can't use our induction hob really effectively. We can, but we, you know, it's sort of a bit of a faff. Turn the inverter on when we need it. Bit worried about the lead acid batteries being depleted too much too quickly, you know. So there's all that sort of, you know, angst going on. But I don't think we'll have that with the lithium battery and the new inverter charger. So there we are. That's all happening on Monday stroke Tuesday next week. And you know, we're really looking forward to that. We're really excited to be getting that done, and we'll give you an update on that in our next video, tell you how it all went and how it's all working. So we got up early this morning for the in readiness for the film crew to arrive at 8:30. It's just coming up on 8 o'clock now, and you'll see the weather that over there is the Minehead seafront that you can't see. It's probably said earlier in this video, but the weather, I mean, this huge sea mist has come in, and it's sort of misty all around. It's quite a nice, it's not cold. There's a very slight breeze, but who knows what the filming is going to go like today. We were hoping to get shots of the surrounding countryside because it's so beautiful. I don't know about it now, so who knows. We'll wait until they arrive at well, they're due to arrive at 8:30, about half an hour. I don't think this lot is going to clear in half an hour.